Good morning, and welcome back to the Teacher's Wake Up Call with Madame la Prof. I'm just going to try and tuck that here. Can y'all hear me? I know, there's the wire there, but still. Oh my God, yesterday was quite the day. I'm exhausted. I'm still exhausted today. We had our student leadership event. Le rendez-vous jeunesse sur la démocratie scolaire, something that literally I don't want to say I've been working on. I don't want to say it's complicated, but basically a bunch of representatives from 5 different service centers and school boards on the island of Montreal. Basically, one of them came up with the idea, hey, wouldn't it be great to have like a leadership event for students for like all 5 boards on the island of Montreal? And the leadership teacher in me kind of squealed, but professionally. And I said, well, it's funny that you should have that idea because I've been thinking about the same idea for the last, 10 years. So I no longer teach leadership. Okay, I'm not even in charge of student council or student life. I'm not even a student life advisor here anymore. But I'm still involved in student-led events at the board level. I'm the teacher advisor for Central Students Committee, which is basically a committee comprised of representatives from each high school in our school board. English Montreal School Board has one too. It's not called Central Students Committee. Lester B. Pearson School Board has one. And I've been involved in that committee since, 2016, like formally. Attending meetings more or less regularly. But I've always been around. And since 2005, I've been doing leadership and student life, and that's always been amazing. So it's one way of putting it. Yes, amazing. Draining, tiring, yes, that too, but amazing. So a few years back, I went to a leadership conference, and someone said, why doesn't Quebec have a provincial student leadership conference? And I said, I don't know. I don't want to say that I felt relatively new, but when it comes to associative, I know that the word exists in French. Des activités associatives de leadership étudiant. It's not as commonplace as, let's say, Ontario, where they have their yearly Ontario Student Leadership Conference, where you have boards from across the province attending it. Even like schools from Montreal also go to this event every now and again. So they send students. And whether you are a French board or an English board. Now, I know things are a bit different in Ontario, but as far as I can remember, I like my involvement. I think there might have been some. I know that Montreal hosted the student leadership, the national conference, the Canadian Student Leadership Conference back in 2010. 2010, yeah, and that was huge. But as far as a provincial event where you are welcoming English schools and French schools, English boards and French boards, nothing. So we've had interboard events, but kept within our linguistic boundaries. And I don't want to say it's symptomatic of other things in our province. I'm not going to start talking about that. But I think it lies within how we define student leadership. And the way I interpret it, and my interpretation can be potentially skewed or false, is that the way that student leadership is seen in English schools, it's centered around school spirit. There is some community and student empowerment and activism involved, but it's not the face of student leadership. The appearance of student leadership is student engagement via student activities, student-led activities, and school spirit, and creating that sense, fostering that sense of community within a school, that sense of belonging within a school, in order to create that energy on a daily basis. So that's how it's seen. So yes, we're talking about pep rallies, we're talking about lunchtime activities, we're talking about carnivals, we're talking about school dances. That's the face. That's the face. We do talk about governance, because within the law, Education Act, we are mandated to have student representatives on the school governing board. By law, we're allowed to do that, and student council is also by law required in every high school. So we do talk about governance, but not as much as what they do in French schools. And in French schools, the way that they view student leadership. Now, when I was in high school, student leadership was like an offshoot of phys ed, and students were getting involved in phys ed activities, but like more elaborate phys ed, like orienteering, camping. There was even archery when I was in high school, so back in the late 1900s. So, but in French schools, student life is viewed in a governance sort of way, and they are all about the democratic process and elections and getting involved politically. So it's not about event planning, it's about really focusing on engagement and fostering that sense of civic duty. I'm not saying it's like that in every French school, but in many French schools that I have encountered, that's how it is. So this event that I was part of yesterday, that lasted the entire day. And when I mean the entire day, I got there with my student, must have been 6:40. We left from there at 5 p.m., give or take a few minutes. I was done, and I'm still dead now. I'm still dragging my feet. So the event that we had yesterday was unprecedented. We never had an event like that. And I'm so happy I was involved in it. I didn't plan it. There was a rep from another board who spearheaded the planning, and she's amazing. She's a lovely woman. She's amazing, and she took care of a lot of the coordinating and the planning. But I was there, and I was involved as the rep for my board, and I coordinated within the leadership teachers on my side, and I was helping, I was assisting. All in all, I'm happy to have been involved in this, because this was something that I was imagining for the last 10 years, more or less. It's like, oh, this would be great. Oh, this would be fun. This would be nice. And I don't think it ever happened. And now it has, so I'm happy. I'm very happy. And I'm also in need of coffee. It's one of those mornings where it feels like a Friday, but we're only Wednesday. Because I am that exhausted. And of course, it's a shortened week. I'm here 2 days, today, tomorrow, and there's a pet day, and we had a day off on Monday, and I wasn't here yesterday. So weeks like these are a rarity. They're a good thing. And considering also that half of my students are also gone, there's another field trip happening on the same, like this, today and tomorrow, affecting all grade 11 students in 2 different batches. So one half of the grade 11s are going to be gone today. The other half will be gone tomorrow. That's going to be interesting. How many students will choose not to show up at all tomorrow? It's one of those weeks. Do I plan work? Well, I mean, I have, and I also have a grade 10 class. It's not like I'm going to be loafing all day, but I've planned one activity that I'm planning on repeating, because I'm not going to create something new for each day, seeing as I'm only going to have half of one and the other half the next day. I'm just going to repeat. So it's the same stuff that I'm going to be doing on both days. And it's grammar work, it's revision, it's nothing too time consuming. Oh, and I also have a smoothie, a green smoothie. I decided to make a green smoothie this morning. Tasty. Yep. It's one of those pre-chopped mixes. You know, get them in the frozen section that have like kale, mango, avocado, pineapple. I think that's the mix. And I add, well, I wanted to add soy milk, but apparently we were out. I added a bit of coconut milk, unsweetened, a bit of regular cow juice, regular milk, and low sugar juice, just to add that sweetness. Because like I've tried it before, I've done this smoothie before, but without the juice and putting water, no. So, and we buy low sugar juice. Basically, it's watered down juice, and it adds that hint of sweetness that is appreciated. I was going to say needed. No, extra sugar is never needed, but appreciated for sure. On that note, folks, I need to organize my day, because it feels really weird showing up on a Wednesday. I know I've done it before, but it still feels very weird. Have yourself an awesome day. Oh, and I might be taking some footage of my staff retreat on Friday on site. Yeah, looking forward to that.